Is Gorduz Backstabber reliable in Ties of Torment? It depends on what you want him there for. If you want to turn your back on him, not so much. If you want to send him behind the enemy caster Lord, watch so much magic unfold, you'd think he's blessed by Hashut. Gorduz essentially set the bar for legendary heroes in this game since Chaos Dwarfs dropped, so let's revisit the backstabbing git. Remember, stick 'em when they's looking the other way. A proper legendary hero with 0 upkeep, on Ultra he skulks in at 3,864 health. Armor of 45 and a shield blocking 35% of frontal small arms fire are not meant to be that impressive. Missile resistance 15% is standard. Leadership 65 starts pretty low compared to Chaos Dwarf standards. Speed 40 and charge speed 50 are nimble enough. Melee attack begins at 50, which is okay without being great. Attack interval 3.8 means that he has slightly less downtime between stabbings. Splash Size medium means Empire Knights on down, and Max Target Splashed is a narrow assassin level 3. Melee defense 58 displays a suspiciously high regard for self. Weapon strength 440 is split base 280 and armor piercing 160. And frankly, these numbers aren't bad, so it's surprising in a way that he has splash damage max of 3. No bonus versus type, charge bonus of 30, and mass of 700. Yeah, this is weak sauce so far. Stay tuned. Malign Authority means even Gorduz, a legendary hero, gets leadership plus 8 when any contemptuous Chaos Dwarf unit is within 55 meters range, since he has to put on a show when he's being watched. Lucky Git gives a burst of self-healing when he's under 25% health, not all instantly, but carried over a 30-second duration, helping his survivability. Crooked Dice is 90 seconds cooldown, 30 seconds duration. Gorduz will gain survivability, but you don't know which of the 3 effects will actually happen. The possible effects: plus 60 armor, plus 40% physical resistance, and plus 40% damage resistance. That is, laugh off 40% of all damage whatsoever, even if it's Sisters of Avalon. That's some serious laughing and cackling. Gorduz's single mount is a giant wolf. Health rises to 4,278. All that changes is speed 92, charge speed 108, charge bonus 50, and mass 400, which means mass went down. Gorduz can hide in forest in both cases, and has no generation of fear in his default state, nor is he a siege attacker. In line with my Stircar video, I'll list his legendary items first because this time I feel that lack of understanding of them would make your turn 1 experience with him more difficult. Banner of Slavery, yes that's the name, grants casualty replenishment plus 10% for Hobgoblin units in his army, plus 10% physical resistance for the same, and immunity to psychology for the same, so they become resistant to fear and terror. It's rare, but some forces lately gain ways to remove immunity to psychology. It's still a big help for a Hobgoblin theme army. Dagger of Malice gives Chaos Undivided Corruption plus 1, weapon strength plus 15% to Gorduz, which is a big deal in itself, and the namesake ability, 120 seconds cooldown, 17 seconds duration. During this time, Gorduz gains poison, ho-hum, nice but not a big deal, and he gets plus 40 melee attack, which is pretty substantial, and gets plus 100%, doubling base damage. That's kind of like a heroic killing blow, but only with base damage. So, as much as I rant about base damage not being the best damage, it's a lot of damage. This means Gorduz is a top-tier murderer of low-armored characters, monsters, and so forth. But if they're embedded in units, he is going to have a hard time fighting through those units to get to them. As an embedded hero, Gorduz brings replenished troops on top of the Banner of Slavery boost for Hobgoblins. Spread Control is his map passive, so he keeps the rabble in line. Damage Building is an almost useless agent action, but Assassinate and Assault units are very useful, and Specialist reduces the cost of these agent actions. At rank 8, Hashut Scales and Headdress of Czar add plus 10% spell resistance and plus 10% missile resistance each for 1 pip. At rank 12, They Need Stabbin provides the ability of the same name, mere 60-second cooldown, 28 seconds duration, 75 meter range. Must target an enemy character. The enemy becomes melee defense minus 24 and armor minus 30 for the duration. The fact this makes base damage more effective is very helpful, not just to Gorduz, but to basically every Hobgoblin damage source. It's good generally. At rank 13, Gorduz can get Bloodthirsty Rage for 1 pip, giving him Frenzy. That's all it does, but that's plus 10 melee attack, plus 10% weapon strength, and charge bonus, and immunity to psychology until damage shocks him out of this frenzied state from morale reduction. For his main combat line, this one has relatively few surprises. Bloody Blade is instant plus 10% weapon strength you can get at rank 1. Well, technically at rank 2. Gutter Fighter, up to plus 12 melee attack at 3 pips, Elusive, plus 12 melee defense at 3, Precise is plus 20% weapon strength at 3. Note how we're already pumping out tons of weapon strength compared to multiplayer. Fleet-footed, plus 15% speed at 3, and one surprise is that Deadly Onslaught is the midway pip, for its modest helping of bonus damage and big helping of charge bonus for 31 seconds, plus 60% charge bonus on top of the rest. You really want that charge to hit. On that note, Opportunist gives plus 15 flat charge bonus at 3. It is sad this is not devastating charge. Combat Striker is another plus 12 melee attack at 3. Survivalist is plus 15% hit points at 3, and his health is not huge. Cornered Rat adds plus 9 leadership at 3, and hey, at least it shores up a known weakness. Slippery is the capstone, allowing a speed increase like Foe Seeker, but the plus 24 melee defense is more for Foe Fleer, at least temporarily. When their backs are turned, blah blah blah. At rank 8, he can get 2 personal lines. We'll cover the top one first. Fated, with an exclamation point, gives him hero action cost minus 15%, Gorduz success chance plus 15%, not Gorduz versus Gorduz, success minus 15% chance, enemy of Gorduz plus 15% chance of getting wounded for his, her, or its trouble. Lucky does nothing except give a permanent plus 10% ward save, so Gorduz cackles off 10% of all damage on top of anything and everything else. No biggie. Sneaky grants Vanguard deployment for Hobgoblins, Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, and Gorduz himself, and offers Stalk to all of those units. What's the unit card at the end of it? Includes Bolt Throwers? Oh boy. Oh yeah, they added Bolt Throwers after Chaos Dwarfs dropped. Right. So they just didn't update the wording of this tooltip. Stalk in the middle of the field for Bolt Throwers could be interesting. On that note, the other personal line begins with the Stabbiest, offering minus 20% upkeep to Hobgoblin units per the previous, and plus 100% unit experience gain. This mirrors increases in the tech tree, so it's doubling down on Hobgoblin armies, including the Bolt Throwers in this case. Now, that was 1 pip. What follows, Stick'em, has 3 pips, and with all 3 Hobgoblin units, even the Bolt Throwers, gets melee attack plus 9 and weapon strength plus 20%. That's quite a lot, unless you're a Bolt Thrower. Shoot 'em! At 3 pips gives ammunition plus 50%, which is a ton, and missile strength plus 20%, and this is starting to look ridiculous for the Bolt Throwers, but it helps with the rest too. And I mean the archers and the sneaky gits with their throwing weapons. Dodge 'em! At 3 is melee defense plus 9, and missile resistance plus 25%. So if you want Hobgoblins to block enemy arrows with their heads, they're 25% better at it now. Get 'em! Gives plus 30% speed and charge bonus plus 25 flat in the same units. For reference, Cutthroats start with 15. Wolf Riders with Spears start with 40. This is giving Cutthroats charge bonus only 2 less than Norscan Berserkers. The Wolf Riders get 3 better than starting Reichsguard. Get the Gits is 3 uses for 1 pip, is 3 uses, 120-second cooldown. All this does is make Gorduz able to summon a unit of Hobgoblin Cutthroats at a max of 90 meters away, preferably in the worst possible place for enemy forces, like on top of an artillery battery. So how do we use Gorduz, Stabber of Backs? Way back, I said something that is still mostly true. Hobgoblin infantry are not built for armor-piercing damage. Even the sneaky gits are not the greenskins equivalent, the nasty skulkers. These are base-heavy stabbers. You want armor piercing, you need Chaos Dwarfs. This means your army composition cannot go all Hobgoblin unless you want to crash and burn, and I mean besides there not being a Hobgoblin lord. That was until the Bolt Throwers came. Now, you can credibly field the lowest form of artillery, but like the lowest form of humor, as in puns, they can often get the job done. In particular, Bolt Throwers having high entity counts makes them chew up walls and gates with relish and mustard. See what I said about lowest form of anyway. You can have a fully functional Hobgoblin army and make it sing, and if you want a couple of blunderbusses to anchor it, that's no bad idea at all. Point being, stock for everything that is Hobgoblin and Backstabby opens doors to some very useful strategies later on, and you stop being dependent only on Sneaky Gits to do Sneaky Git things, including having Gorduz himself summon Cutthroats to backstab enemy artillery. The more annoying the tactic, the better. Make the enemy work to win. You still need to be concerned for enemy units able to withstand casual bolt thrower bombardment, and by and large, that means things like elite infantry, resistant to archers, and light levels of stabbing. Yeah, well, the faction has ways to deal with that. Well, making the bulk of your force cheaper and harder hitting is a big help regardless. Just remember that Gorduz only pulls these miracles in one army at a time. If there are no Hobgoblins to boost, like when he returns after some Hannibal wannabe wrecked your entire army, using him as an agent isn't some detriment. Just eventually give him a home in an army of cutthroats to turn them into hardened killers. For the most part, still respect that he boosts a lot of base damage heavy units, so pick your opponents well and offset those weaknesses. Take care, and upon being so slippery, you move through a gap in the line, and the fact the enemy wizard saw you coming is no impediment to putting a dagger through his heart. Backstabbing is a matter of result, not entry point.